Okay, this is a presentation I did last weekend to a bunch of chemistry, two-year chemistry instructors. I have to say they weren't real impressed.
We will be.
Their main comment was, this looks like a lot of work.
Yeah.
And it is a lot of work, okay? But this process started about 3 or 4 years ago. I was getting pretty frustrated with the small amount of lecture time I had and trying to get everything done. Go over homework, review quizzes, pass back homework, answer questions. And then you get down to presenting the lecture, you got 40 minutes left. And so you have to rush through the lecture. Then you get more questions because students are confused because you rush through it. And Dean sent an article out on email that talked about someone, I think at MIT or Harvard, that was using other videos basically to teach their class. And he was actually getting videos from other colleges and things. And the course that I teach is a pre-nursing chemistry, and it's pretty unique, the approach that I take to it. I do a lot of case studies, and I really apply it to nursing, whereas in a lot of schools, what they call nursing chem is just baby chemistry. There's very little nursing and health applications in it. All your videos. The basic idea of flipping is that you take and you do all your lectures and record them. And I put those on my website. The students watch those at home. Then when they come into class, I don't lecture in class. I have lots of time to go over homework, review quizzes, answer problems, etc. Okay? And my first thought about designing the class was, well, if I just do that, how many of them are actually going to watch the videos? And so I said, no, not going to work. And then I got to think about it a little bit, and I've been using clickers a little bit in my classroom, experimenting with those. You know what a clicker is?
Yeah.
It's like a little remote control, and I can put quizzes up on the screens and give them a clicker quiz. So what I would do every day at the end of class, the last 15 minutes, is a clicker quiz. So it forces them to watch the videos. Okay, and they do a really good job of it. Plus, it gives you a lot of freedom in lecture because you can spend more time than whatever time you have to design it for your class. So a lot of my videos, I tried to keep them shorter, but I found that if I defeated the whole purpose of it if I tried to go too fast. So I put in extra examples. I'd review the homework and maybe do a few homework problems for them. So they're typically about an hour to an hour and 20 minutes. They have to watch one tonight that's an hour and 47 minutes, but I warned them to, pardon?
Of just you talking?
Well, no, they don't even see me.
What are they looking at?
They're looking at information about chemistry. I'll show you in a second.
Okay, so when you say a flipped classroom, you're talking about instead of actually having students there listening to you lecture, you have them listen to you before they come to the class, and then they're discussing what you...
Right.
Okay, I got you.
Right. Okay. So my question is, what is the most effective use of the limited amount of time we have with our students? And me rushing through a lecture, I didn't think was a real good use of it. Okay, so I started making some recordings, and basically the students watch the lecture videos outside of class. Each video has a corresponding homework assignment and key, which is on the website. So they watch the videos, they do the homework, check themselves in the key. And then when they come to class, they've got questions that they didn't understand, or I might need to re-emphasize something in the video. So this is all face-to-face. It's not online. So I review the video and homework, spend about 30 to 60 minutes doing that. Work example problems, do demos, relate material to allied health field. We have some wonderful discussions that before I would have never had time for. So, and at the end of class, I give a clicker quiz. Maybe I can show one of those.
Are those graded, Larry?
Yes, they are. I give them 5 questions, ranging from real easy to fairly difficult at the end. And I give them 2 points per question, but the way I do it is that when I initially started grading them, if I didn't give them any credit at all, the scores were too low. So currently I give them 1 point for attempting it. And then I give them a second point if they get it correct. And actually, the clicker quiz scores average around 70 to 80% typically. So I didn't want it to be a penalty, but I wanted to make sure that they're actually doing the work they needed to do. And then when they take the regular quizzes have the same sort of questions and information. So it's a great way to study for the quiz. Plus, when I'm doing the clicker quiz, I give them the problem, and then I spend 2 or 3 minutes explaining exactly how I got the appropriate answer. I'm talking to her and I'm looking at her. That's,
yeah. He's looking at you, Chris. So you're saying that the clicker quiz is actually going over the material and everything, and it's just reinforcing it.
It's just reinforcing the major concepts, right?
Okay, and so you aren't. That's not part of their final grade.
Yes, it is.
It is. Okay.
Definitely.
It is.
Yeah, I'll show you in just a second here. So when in my grading, they have labs in chemistry always. They get 240 points for that. Projects are 120. Their clicker quizzes are 200 points. Okay, so that's a substantial part of their grade. I felt if I went any lower than that, they'd be tempted not to watch the videos and keep up. So I'm forcing them at least 2 days a week. They're going to be caught up. They're going to have done they're going to watch the videos. They're going to have done their homework, etc. And it's had a really good effect. I'm really happy with what's happened. I'm going to skip, made a little video to show at the conference. I'm going to skip that. But moving the lecture onto videos gives me time to do a much better job of explaining material during class, have more time for demonstrations, etc. And so I went back 6 years and looked at all my grades. And I was doing pretty much a typical lecture here. The first year I started teaching this particular class. And then I started recording the videos using Integrity, and I think that helped some. Then I started using clickers in the fall of 2009, and then I flipped it spring of 2011. Okay, and there's a lot of numbers there, so let's. If you look at the retention, it varies a lot from semester to semester, but it is trending upward. Okay. If you look at the percentage grade for the whole course, this is the first semester that I did it, and I thought I had discovered a miracle. I had like 48% A's that semester. It was totally amazing. But then the next semester I got a dose of reality, but still compared to the other semesters, it was quite good. I think this semester I'm going to be somewhere in this neighborhood. This was just an exceptional group here. If you look at the number of A's, like I said, that one semester I had like 48%, but following semester I was back down very close to normal. But I found that my A's and B's, what happens is a lot of my C students moved up in the B category, which was really gratifying to me. C's have actually gone down. And the D's, F's, and W's have shown a slight decrease. Still, it just depends upon that particular class. And I got one section this semester that I've had like 30 absences from my classes out of 20 some odd people. Then I've got another section for the whole group. There's like 4 or 5 absences. So there's just so much variation from one section to another. So questions?
Are these lectures that you had recorded in front of a class before? Because I always find it difficult.
Well, I tried doing that, and there was too many weird spots. I had to re-record all of them. Okay, and initially it was a lot of work, but what I'm finding now is I've got them all done, but of course they're not all very good. And so I'm going back through now, and every semester I'm redoing about 2 or 3 of the videos and adding a little more to them, making them a little bit better.
But you're not doing them in front of an audience, you're doing them just yourself?
No, just in my office, yeah.
Using Integrity?
Yes, I'm doing Integrity. It's not a real good recorder, I don't think, because it's really hard to edit. And I've had several arguments with Thatcher about that, but I can still continue to think that. There's some that you can edit it slide by slide. Kelly uses Articulate, but it's kind of expensive. But Adobe Presenter, you can do it slide by slide also.
I
And
like
so-
Tegrity because, I'm sorry, because
It's easy.
it's easy,
Yeah.
and I don't want the option to sit there and edit, because my frustration with technology is I spend more and more time on technology instead of on the content of my discipline. So I've been enjoying Tegrity, as long as I don't watch myself too much, because I mean, you're always going to not like the way you look.
Yeah, I don't ever put my picture on there actually,
I like
because when I'm recording, I do all these weird things that I don't even realize I'm doing, and so it's very distracting to have my, so I'll put a picture of my grandson there or something like that. Yeah. Okay, so let me this is just a PDF of the quiz, but
Who bought the clickers?
Science department. I got an initial set of 30 about 3-4 years ago, and I just reuse them in each class.
Yeah, it comes with,
I'm lost. What are you talking about, a clicker? I mean, I know I have a clicker that you click and it sounds like a you know.
Okay, no, it's a little remote control.
yeah.
So let me show you here.
You know, what to train a dog with? I don't know what you're talking
Okay.
about.
I wrote that back,
So,
and it comes
there would be a
comes with the clickers and the software because it's actually
Oh,
you
so
load it
each
onto the
student
machine.
has a
And
clicker.
then-
Each student has a little clicker, and I have a receiver that I put in my computer in a USB port. And so they look at the question on the board, and it's always, for my questions, it's multiple choice, and they click on which one they think is correct. Okay? And what they'll do is, you're monitoring how many people respond, and they can also see if it's actually received their vote. There's a little thing on the bottom that shows that. And I just wait until I think they've had enough time. I can use, and usually if there's 1 or 2 left, I just keep going, then I'll shut them off. I'll give them 10-second warning, then I'll shut them off. And then it shows a graph of who guessed which answer. And then I'll give them the correct answer. And then I'll go over why that was the correct answer. Yeah.
But how do you you said you were giving them points per question. How do you know?
That's part of the software.
What was that?
What?
That's part of the software, is it not?
Yeah, it's part of the software. So it automatically, when they click, it records it all and puts in a little spreadsheet for you. At the end of class, I save that. And it's very easy, so the grading is like instantaneous.
So the clicker is attuned to the specific student.
Yes, they have a particular number, and so you have to put your participant list in, but then it records everything for that particular student.
Okay.
Yeah, it comes with the hardware, which is the clickers themselves, and the software which you load on the machine
Right.
in the classroom.
Yeah,
And then when they do their clicking and putting in their answers, then the software on the machine will pick up all of their answers and record it all for you.
Got it.
It's great for polls and stuff because students can be
Yeah.
anonymous. And
Yep.
find out
Yeah,
more
it's all
what they're
anonymous,
doing.
right.
What do you mean?
Well, the students don't know what any of the other students put for an answer.
Right, but you
Yeah,
get
but I
that.
do.
You do at the
Yeah.
end, but when it's up here, it's not.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
Is there an option to show it what the other students wrote as their answer?
I think so. There's a lot of options. The ones I use are made by Turning Technologies. They have a program called Turning Point, but there are lots of other clickers out there too. I've been really impressed with these. I've had them for 4 years and I haven't had one problem with any of them. But getting used to the software, when you write the questions as a PowerPoint presentation, and it takes you a little while to understand how to do that. I spent about 2 semesters really figuring that out pretty well. And then you have to spend the time writing these quizzes too. And so after a semester or 2, you get kind of a little bit of a bank and you can go back in and modify them, et cetera. Yeah.
All right.
So anything else?
Oh, that's great.
The main thing I like about it is not so much the grades, it's just I'm enjoying teaching again. Because I go in there, I get to interact with them, I get to answer questions, talk about things. And that's so much more fun than trying to rush through
Okay,
one.
this is killing me. Will you tell me what the answers are to this? This is killing me.
The two
Those 2 right there?
are CQ3 and
They're the same thing, 3.
the same substance.
Okay, thanks.
So what is the substance?
It's just, they're either isomers, or they're different substances, or they're the same substance. And if you haven't had chemistry, you're not going to know the answer.
Ah.
So,
Okay. Thank you.
okay.
All right. Thank you, Larry. So I give you a card that goes to Larry's website.